Good evening. This is News Review, and my name is Dodou Jah. Thank you for being there. Coming up on the show today, police have arrested 2 Nigerians who use motorbikes to rob citizens. President Barrow yesterday laid the foundation stone for the construction of 20 urban roads. 3 opposition party leaders met at the Paradise Suites Hotel on Wednesday, that was yesterday, to sign an MOU that has given rise to the Alliance for Change 2021 coalition. We have a report on that for you also, but today my guest will be Dodou Jah, the Deputy Spokesman and Communications Director of APRC. He will be my guest today. Before we enter the show proper, we'll quickly go through the country's newspapers today and what they might have been reporting on. We'll begin with the Standard newspaper. New coalition vows to unseat Barrow minutes after signing a coalition agreement between his Citizens Alliance and 3 other parties. Dr. Ismail Assise said the agreement represents a political death warrant for President Adama Barrow and his government. The signing took place yesterday, which formally brought together at least for now, 3 parties who have agreed to form a united platform to contest the presidential election in December. Well, we have a report for you on that development a little later. Gum Housing proprietor faces 84 charges of fraud, saying the proprietor of Gum Housing, Lamin Mboj, was on Tuesday arraigned before the Kanifi Magistrates Court for allegedly defrauding 84 people and obtaining money by false pretense. The matter is before the Master of the High Court, Sheriff Tabali. Mboj, who has been sued by a total of 84 people, denied the charges. High Court orders freezing of Dabanani accounts pending investigations. The High Court in Banjul, presided over by Justice B.A. Bakre, yesterday issued an order for the freezing of the Dabanani Electrical Company accounts at Bloom Bank pending investigations. According to the order signed by Justice Bakre after hearing from A.M. Yusuf representing the state, that is the Inspector General of Police, that is the first and second applicants respectively, and the Attorney General respectively. An order has been given to restrain Dabanani Electrical Company first respondent, Alaji Conte second respondent, and Bloom Bank third respondent or their agents from moving, removing, or dealing with funds in the Dabanani accounts for 2 weeks pending investigations. That's the development there. Yesterday, the account was blocked by police. It was later unblocked, and the new development yesterday was the court order, which has now ordered for the account to be frozen pending investigations there. Let's see the Point newspaper. One story there is saying IEC names 26 candidates, schedules nomination dates. Massive. 26 people, citizens, are interested in the top job in December, saying the Independent Electoral Commission of the Gambia has released 26 names of candidates for the Gambia's December 4th presidential elections, as well as the Commission's schedule for the nomination proceedings starting on the 30th of November to 5th November, 30th of October, to 5th November 2021. So the nomination will start this Saturday. That will be all for the newspapers. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Now, 2 Nigerians are in hot water after being arrested by police. Well, according to the police, these 2 men specialize in breaking into people's vehicles and stealing their properties using motorcycles. More in this. They were paraded today. More in this report.
Police spokesperson Superintendent Dodou Jah has in a presser earlier today at the Bakote police station explained how 2 Nigerians, one 46-year-old and a 36-year-old, got caught after being recognized as thieves that follow people in various banks using a motorbike to rob.
We are here today to report on the case of 2 Nigerian nationals, the ones that you are seeing over there. One is called Solomon Obilo a 46-year-old Nigerian, and the other one is called Mentus Tunde. He is also a 36-year-old Nigerian. Actually, the reason why these people are here is because these individuals are being caught on a particular crime which they are specialized in doing, and that is they follow their victims to their banks and observe them. In fact, they lay some kind of a surveillance for this particular individual while he or she goes on with withdrawing cash from the bank. And they always mark out people who withdraw bulk cash from their banks, and then one of them will be in the bank while the other one is sitting on a motorbike outside waiting for you. Moment you withdraw your cash and you are out and about going, then he will signal or call this other individual to tell the person he is on his way coming out, and the motorbike owner will mark you. As soon as the other person comes out, then they will follow you on their bike. Wherever you go, they will be following you without your knowledge until you park your car at any point. Then they will decide to come over, break the car glasses, and steal money that you have put in the car. Or in certain instances, they could even forcefully rob you when you carry the money back with you.
Mr. Njai also added that these two individuals are migrant criminals. He said after stealing, they fly out of the country and come back again. But unfortunately, this time around, they were caught.
These people are sort of like migrant criminals. What they do is they come to the Gambia seasonally, because these people you are seeing from the passports that we are having, they have entered into the Gambia just this past Saturday, meaning that it was on Saturday that they came into the Gambia, and after Saturday, Sunday, they bought this motorbike you are seeing. Brand new motorbike they bought. It has not been registered anywhere in the Gambia, and they are using it running around in town following people at the bank. And what we have gathered as far as our experience is concerned is the fact that they do this once, twice or so, and they gather the money and they flee out of the country within the nearest possible time. So unfortunately for these people, this time around they could not get away with this, and they are being caught.
Superintendent Jaya told the press that these two were caught as they were robbing an individual who withdrew $120,000.
In this instance where they got caught, they were robbing that individual of $120,000. The individual withdrew $120,000 from his bank, and he put the money in his car. When the money was in his car on his way going, they followed him also. And so it was at the point when they were taking this $120,000 from his car.
Mr. Njai used the opportunity to commend the general public for their continued support in ensuring that criminals are caught. He also encouraged all to continue sharing information with the police to curb the spread of violent crimes. TFN News View, Mati Senghor.
Well, one of my friends was a victim of motorbike riding thieves. $50,000 was what they took from his vehicle. Away from that, President Adama Barrow yesterday laid the foundation stone for what would mark the beginning of the construction of 20 urban roads in the Greater Banjul area. The foundation stone laying was held at Brufut yesterday, presided over by the president there. More in this report.
President Adama Barrow on Wednesday, 27 October, laid the foundation stone signaling the commencement of a 50-kilometer OIC urban road project. The foundation stone laying took place at a ceremony attended by religious and community leaders, government officials, and hundreds of President Barrow-led National People's Party NPP supporters at the Brufut football playing field. Given the scope of the construction exercise, President Barrow said the project will cover 20 routes with a combined distance of 50 kilometers, with provisions for the installation of solar-powered street lights, construction of sidewalks and parking lanes.
When completed, the project will vitally expand our urban road network to accommodate the increasing volume of road traffic, address the need for more effective road safety measures, and set up an efficient drainage system within the Greater Banjul area. It is obvious that the construction of good roads, where they are needed most, can boost commercial engagements and improve the image of urban settings.
The president noted that the project will facilitate movement and promote economic activities in the West Coast regions and its environs, reiterating that the completion of the project will expand urban road network to accommodate the increasing volume of traffic, address the need for more effective road measures, and improve the image of all the communities that will be networked by the combined 50-kilometer road project.
There are towns and settlements, big and small, that have been isolated for decades due to poor accessibility. Yet the situation continues to be ignored. Those isolated areas will be served by the proposed network of feeder roads that will link them to the highway. Brufut, Ghana Town, Sukuta Bundung, the Senegambe Enclave, and its neighborhoods particularly stand to benefit from the project.
He continued that towns and settlements that have been isolated for decades will benefit from such projects, stressing that the development of these busy routes would solve the difficulties of school children, business persons, and numerous commuters who struggle daily to board the few vehicles that ply such congested areas.
The development of these busy roads will solve the difficulties of school children, patients, business persons, and the numerous commuters who struggle daily to board the few vehicles that plow these congested areas. Through such projects, access to schools, hospitals, and other social amenities and services will be enhanced gradually throughout the country.
He continued that towns and settlements that have been isolated for decades will benefit from such projects, stressing that the development of these busy roads will solve the difficulties of school children, business persons, and the numerous commuters who struggle daily to board the few vehicles that ply such congested areas.
The scope of works for this project consists of the construction of 20 roads, 20 routes that add up to 50 kilometers, 45 kilometers of asphalt pavement, and 5 kilometers of concrete pavement. It also has provision for the installation of solar power street lights and the construction of shoulders, sidewalks, drains, and parking areas.
President Barrow registered appreciation of his government to the Saudi Fund for Development for providing the required funding of the project to the tune of $50 million. Speaking to the Fatu Network, National Assembly member Honorable Baba Galejalo said they have been yearning for such development for decades, stressing that his people, especially business women, have been suffering greatly to access major markets due to poor road network for 60 years now, but believes that the implementation of the project will ease that burden.
I am the representative of these consequences, and I'm a native of Burfoot also. But this project cannot be overemphasized because my people, mostly when they wake up in the morning to go to Serekunda, they find it very difficult. It takes them hours before they get vehicle to go to Serekunda, especially those who are going for these fishmongers and these vegetable gardeners. So seeing this road being constructed is going to be a big plus for the community of Burfoot.
Speaker after speaker showered praises on President Barrow and expressed appreciation for linking their communities through the combined 50-kilometer road project. Reporting for the Fatu Network, Amara Thoronka.
Now, three leaders of the country's opposition political parties met at the Paradise Suites Hotel yesterday to put pen to paper on a deal that will now see them form a united front ahead of the December presidential election. CA leader Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, APP leader Dr. Ibrahim Jain, and GMC leader Mayan Ahmad Fati signed a memorandum of understanding that will see their three parties work together regarding the December election. Well, it was supposed to be five parties initially agreed, but two of them were a no-show. GFA of Bibi Dabo, and NUP of Abdoulaye Jammeh. More in this report.
Presenting the Memorandum of Understanding, Gumbo Ali Toure, former leader of the All People's Party, noted that since independence in 1965, the Gambia continues to confront challenges of socio-economic development. This, he says, is amidst the fact that the country has consolidated genuine democracy and implemented some of the most successful economic reform programs. He blames corruption, abuse of office, and misplaced priorities as key things that have negatively impacted the country's pace of development. It is based on these challenges and its view that the President Adama Barrow-led administration has failed to introduce meaningful reforms that some opposition parties have decided to commit themselves to form an alliance to contest the 2021 presidential elections under a unified banner and a single candidate.
Efforts to promote or build strong, disciplined, inclusive national institutions to facilitate consensus and the compromise around national policy of development and implementation, protection of human rights and the rule of law, and the promotion of the welfare of all citizens within a unified nation have generally failed in this country. These challenges, coupled with mismanagement of economic resources, have been accentuated by self-serving political conduct, where personal and partisan interests have always overridden national interest. Consequently, the Gambia now faces a near existential threat, which requires urgent redress to avert potential civil strife.
Making a statement on behalf of the All People's Party, Dr. Dodou Jah said they as party leaders have put aside their individual political party aspirations and have now decided to work together as a unified front.
This is the beginning of the Alliance for Change 2021. This is the beginning of the work of the opposition parties that have come together to remove the current government, the government of Adama Barrow. We have, I know the press is aware and have been aware, that we have tirelessly worked for the past 9 weeks. Like every negotiation, be it small group or large group, it's a challenge, and it wasn't easy. We all, as political parties, had our manifestos, our agendas, our priorities of what to do when we come to government. But because we have decided amongst ourselves that Gambia is more important than any of our individual priorities, our individual objectives, our individual agendas for the development, progress, and peace of this country, we have decided to make a united force, a committed united force. Without any doubt, we have put aside our political ambitions, political party ambitions, put it that way, and build this united front. So in due course, possibly today, possibly in the next few days, we will have a flag bearer whom all signatories to this memorandum would give 100% support. Thank you all.
Dr. Ishmael Cisse represents the Citizens Alliance, CA. He said as political leaders, they realize that the country is at a stage where they have to put aside their egos to ensure the nation is saved from the doldrums of decadence. He agrees that building a coalition always comes with challenges, but he is optimistic that other parties will subsequently join them.
Today is a historic day for Gambia's democracy and a historic day for Gambia's development. The death warrant for President Barrow and his government has just been signed today. the framework that will lay the foundations for unprecedented socio-economic and inclusive prosperity has just been signed today. It has been a very difficult task. You see, our political system is not designed to accommodate for grand coalitions of the type that we envisage or that we desire. However, like Dr. Baibiran Jan, the party leader of APP, just mentioned, we realize that the country is at a stage where we had to suppress our egos and sacrifice our political ambitions to ensure we save this country from the doldrums of institutional decadence. That is why CA was one of the parties, the leading parties, that initiated the grand coalition talks with the hope that we can bring all progressive minds together to form a common force to remove President Barrow and his bad government from power. But as things always turn out, coalition building are fraught with serious challenges, and the parties that are signatories to this MOU today are the ones that have signed so far. We hope that the other two will sign subsequently, but we also take the opportunity to urge all other parties that believe in Gambia to come and join this Alliance for Change 2021.
Honorable Mai Ahmed Fati is leader of the Gambia Moral Congress. He said the signing of the MOU marks a new distinction in Gambia's march to genuine democracy. He revealed that they have spent 9 weeks of critical decision-making and have now decided to restore sanity in the country's body politics.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin a new journey together, we shall march together. But we understand it is not going to be a walk in the park. No, it is not going to be a walk in the park. We are not under any illusion, but it is very difficult for established political body, established political class to accept a new beginning. This is what we truly represent. The CA, Dr. Ismail Cisse, with his vibrancy. And then you come down to the serenity of Dr. Jan, and perhaps the controversy of Honorable Mayaban Fati. Combine these three together, you will have the best team to lead this country.
The event was climaxed by the symbolic signing of the MOU by party leaders, followed by a question and answer session. Reporting for the Fatu Network, I am Christian Conte.
Thank you very much. So today my guest will be Dodou Jah, Deputy Spokesman of the APRC. A lot going on in that party there. They now have a new political force that has emerged within that party, the No Alliance movement, and really they've been causing a lot of problems for the APRC. The deputy spokesman was among one of the officials. Well, Jammeh said he was dismissing, and then you have the executive hold their own press conference to say Jammeh has no authority or power to dismiss that. So, yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again for having me on the show.
Okay, let's Jammeh's comments. Let's begin there. Has Jammeh's comments succeeded in causing confusion among APRC?
Absolutely, yes. Following our forums and communicating with people on social media has definitely manifested that. A lot of people are putting it in our APRC forums that they're disappointed. Some of them saying, what is the problem that he's been quiet for a very long time and only to come out and make such a pronouncement? So for some people, it's like, for them, no matter what he says, they're moving on. Others are saying, okay, we were heading this direction, but hence Jammeh has said this, we're tracking back, we're going that way. So definitely it's a confusion.
You have this feeling that Jammeh is APRC, APRC is Jammeh.
Yes.
When Jammeh speaks, that's final. A lot of people were in Kanilai to listen to the former president. And now the No Alliance movement is saying that you have been dismissed. You have gone past your sell-by date. Jammeh has dismissed you. And the majority of APRC supporters have now migrated to the other side, the NAM side.
Let me at least correct this. Not when he speaks is final. Now, when we say Jammeh is APRC, APRC is Jammeh. He has a huge following, without doubt. People love and cherish Jammeh. You cannot take that away from him.
Yes.
And the support for him has been a very long time. And somebody who served or headed a country for 22 years, that's not 22 days or months. It's a very long time. In as much as a lot of people might hate him or dislike him, but still he has a large following, people who love him. Now, when people say Jammeh has spoken and that is it, this is not about Jammeh or APRC alone. We live in a country and this country has laws. And when you do politics, you must know what the law says. That's the dimension where we're heading to. That, if you look at the electoral laws, 2015, it was amended. There were a lot of changes made to that. One of which says, you cannot be an executive member of a political party unless you're a resident in this country, which means somebody outside the Gambia cannot hold any portfolio within that political party. That happened in 2015 when Jammeh was the president. This is why I went to Congress in 2018 and Jammeh's name was not on that list because we know what the law says. And again, 2021, his name cannot be on that list. People interpret differently, but we know what the law says. If we do, the party could be suspended or the party could be banned by the IEC. They have such powers vested in them and they can do that. Now, if you said a political party is owned by an individual, if he says jump, you ask how high. It cannot exist under the laws of this country. The IEC again would say this is contrary to the electoral laws of the country. If you talk about an executive, these are people with portfolios and responsibilities for them to execute. Not somebody must say yes is yes and no it becomes no. People like Pa Modumbo have been saying it, that single-handedly Jammeh chose this executive. So he has every right to expel them like he did with Emeba and Co. And I am telling Pa Modu, that is not true. I want to refute that. That is definitely not true. I will take the case of myself. I came into the executive when CD made up his mind that he's going to Barrow. And I got a call from Rambo himself telling me CD is going, we want to give you CD's position. I said, well, that's a huge responsibility. Can I have a TOR? If I can do the job, I'll tell you yes. If not, you look for somebody else. Yes. He says, okay, we'll work that out and we'll all work with you. On that day, speaking to Rambo, he told me even CD is here. So they invited me to the bureau. When I went to meet the executive, they decided to give me deputy spokesperson and secretary. By then, that was my portfolio. But they never told me that Jammeh said, we appoint you. That's one. And secondly, since my appointment, Jammeh was not in the picture when I was appointed. If people could track back in 2017, that leaked audio, the Right Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta is putting to Jammeh that we have a very brilliant young man in our midst. If Jammeh picked me, would they tell him who I am? Definitely. And people keep asking, where were you when Jammeh was around?
And you don't think that's an aberration? You should have gone to Congress. You should have contested for that position, for that role. Not necessarily you have an executive, appoint you.
Not necessarily. In the
involvement of the delegates.
In the APRC constitution, it states that the party leader and chairman can appoint and fire people in consultation with the executive.
So now, the NAM are saying that at the Congress in Buyam, that they have evidence, video evidence of you appointing the former president as party leader and chairman in Buyam Congress.
Yeah, that's 2018. If my mind serves me correctly, that was in 2018. But go down to the Congress resolution. It is spelled out clearly that Fabakary Tombong Jatta, as the interim leader, powers are vested in him while the former president is away in Equatorial Guinea. They can go back to the Congress resolution. They will find it there. Appointing, it's one thing. But the same Congress vested the powers in Fabakary Tombong Jatta and not Jammeh. It is there in the Congress resolution.
Now, the counter-firing. Jammeh fired you. You are refusing to accept that. Jammeh is saying he doesn't want to have anything. There is a new leadership, new crop of leaders. You are rejecting that. You are saying you remain the leaders of this party. And then you're counter-firing. You have your leader, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, coming to dismiss at least 3 of your executive, Bakary Saibo, Sane, Abdou Jaju, Mohamed Lamin Jammeh, dismissing all of these people. What crime have they committed?
We did not
from the executive.
Yes, yes. It is good to clarify that. But first, let me make this clear. It is a contradiction to say the whole executive has been expelled by Jammeh. It is contrary to the laws of this country and the APRC constitution. Like I quoted, it is the chairman and party leader who has the powers to appoint and fire in consultation with the national executive. Nobody does that single-handedly. And you cannot remove a whole executive without Congress. You must go to Congress in order to get rid of an entire executive. Appointing one or two or firing one or two, you don't need Congress to do that. And IEC, anytime you organize Congress, you write them, they have to attend. 2018 they were there, 2021 they were there. No Congress was done in the absence of the IEC. So people must understand. Now for these three that we remove, I'll make it very clear. When the issue of alliance came, it took us several months. We've been discussing this in our forums and at executive meetings. Now, the final day, we said, today we must draw a line about this alliance. We must know everybody's fate. Bakari Saibo didn't attend that meeting. Dodou Jah was there. Mohamed Jammeh was there. Mohamed Lamin Jammeh was there. What we did, either you say yes or no, you write your name and sign that you have said yes or no. Everybody was accorded this opportunity. Only Dodou Jah said no. Even Mohamed Lamin Jammeh said yes. The records are there. We recorded audio of every executive member present there. I did the recording. I keep that audio in any language. Some said it in Jola, some in Wolof, others Mandinka, others Fulas. The reason is we want to keep record of it. Only Dodou Jah again said no. Even Mohamed Lamin Jammeh said yes at that meeting. So it's not like the executive were imposing. Now their removal from the forum is, we reach a certain point in time, whatever is discussed in that forum is being shared someplace else. Even by July, we release audios and said, tomorrow you have a meeting 4 o'clock. That is very absurd. We did our own findings and we found out that the main person responsible was Mohamed Lamin Jammeh. One. Now, for Dodou Jah's case, as an executive member, you have a right to disagree based on your reason. It is well respected, but you cannot go against the executive. As an executive member, you don't do that publicly. When we went to Marakisa, Dodou did not attend our meeting, and from sources, he mobilized the youth to go against the executive. There was like a chaotic scene, even insults were being rained. As an executive member, you don't do that. All that, he was also left at the forum. So Bakari Saibo, in and again, he said, no, what are your reasons? Barrow is not competent, he's a betrayal, he's this, he's that. Well, that is well heard of. But he said he's going around the Fonyi to campaign to make sure that the executive, the people of Fonyi are not going to follow the executive. He did not say Gambia, he said Fonyi. He will campaign against us. And that's what he was doing. We have the audios of some of their meetings, so we feel we cannot keep them our midst, but to relieve them because they are not willing to work or serve the executive, they must be replaced.
So what law have they violated as per your constitution? Because clearly, when they had their own press conference yesterday, what they said is that these people were removed illegally.
Per our laws, we agreed that in our WhatsApp forum, nobody should share anything outside that forum. Whoever does that has violated laws. And again, you cannot campaign against your own executive. No political party will entertain that. You have a right to disagree, fine. But going against it and telling people don't follow them, don't agree to what they said, no institution will keep such an individual.
Now, the issue of Jammeh's address. Jammeh spoke to say he never approved of this alliance. He wasn't aware. He didn't give his blessing. These are all what he said. I mean, this was the one issue that remained very much unclear. I remember at your press conference where you announced this alliance, I asked Mr. Jara about this, whether Jammeh approved this. And he said yes. But Jammeh said he did not. So who is lying? Bamodu was here last week and he said, your executive is lying to say that Jammeh has given permission for you to go into this alliance. And you are saying he did. So someone somewhere must not be telling the truth.
Yeah, Bamodu is not an executive member. Bamodu does not even have APRC membership. I've been saying that, let him prove me wrong. Because I am in charge of the bureau. I have the database of those who have registered and have APRC membership card. Not Bamodu, not to my knowledge. He doesn't have one. If he does, let him prove me wrong. So who is Bamodu after all? who has to come and say, okay, the executive is lying, as if he has ever attended any of our
But he is
meetings.
speaking with Jammeh, at least.
I am coming to that. Tombong alone did not say it. When they spoke with Jammeh, Rambo was there. He affirmed to that. The former Lord Mayor Yankuba Koli was there. He also attests to that what Tombong said is the fact. Now, 3 people against an individual, majority will carry the vote. I don't think these people have any intentions of lying. Again, to add, at this very media, I had an interview with Sergio Brito. When I made a pronouncement here that if the national executive are going with Barrow, I said I would resign. I spoke against Barrow. I went against a possible alliance. Shortly after that, information came out that Jammeh said I should be banned from talking on behalf of the APRC. Others said even Jammeh has expelled me from the party. Can people reflect to that? It was based on this alliance that I must shut up and not to talk about this alliance or to go against the president. So it would be funny to say that Jammeh was not in the picture or he was not aware about that. That was the reason they wanted me to shut up, not to talk about anything about the president or the alliance. People can go and look at those records, the interview I did, they will find it there.
The No Alliance movement is saying that at the moment what you are doing, that is the Fabakary Tombong Jatta and co-executive, is that you are just now trying to save face. You have been humiliated, you have been disrespected by Jammeh. All now you are doing is to save face. Is this what you are doing?
Well, for them, they've said it and they've been saying, if I said they, especially Lamin Tamba said it, if Jammeh says yes, they're going in for the island. If he says no, then so be it. So this has been their stance. We started from Lamin Tamba and he injected it in all of them. That's when that campaign started, when Pamodu went to Sierra, which was funded by Lamin Tamba himself. It's like one day, Lamin Tamba said he's not against an alliance earlier on, but we have to wait until November before we do any alliance. So if we want to do it earlier on, he's not part of it. This is where all the breakup started. It's like whatever Lamin Tamba wants, that must be. Because in one of our forums, the Diaspora Forum APRC, I told him, you think that the party is built around you. Anything you want, that's what should happen. Whatever you dislike, you'll fight against it. I have those text messages. I've screenshot them and I kept them. And he said, yes, I am accusing him, blah, blah. I told him I'm going to drink my cup of tea. And later he has to exit that Diaspora Forum because I take him on that forum. So Lamin Tamba is somebody who believes whatever he wants should happen within APRC. Or if that's not the case, he's going to go against it. That's the mentality he has. He's been saying, I've been lying about him. I've been saying this and this and that. I don't have any reasons to lie about people. That's when Pamodu and Co came in and started pushing everything. What I want to make clear, people have right and to say whatever Jammeh says, we are going by that. No qualms about that. I've said it repeatedly that nobody owns anybody. Nobody is paid monthly, and each and every one of us were entitled to one vote. So if you succumb to that ideology that it must be Jammeh only, you're entitled to that. We are saying we're an executive member. This party belongs to all Gambians. You cannot just restrict it to an individual or a certain or a particular region. We don't have that mentality or philosophy. APRC is for Gambia. We're not listening to an individual, but we're following what our constitution says and the laws of the land. So NAM could say anything. They could say we are scammers, we are liars, we are traitors. That is their opinion. But is that the actual fact? No. Let people date back to 2017 when things were tough, when riding was very rough. Today, if people are scrambling and pushing and pulling, it's because APRC is on its footing, and they should give thanks to Fabakary Tombong Jatta and his team.
Now, Mr. Jah, I remember way back, I suggested the sacking of Jammeh to you.
Yes.
You found
not
that
once.
Not once.
Yes.
You found that unreasonable.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you had the authority, you had the power to dismiss Jammeh. But you found it unreasonable or unthinkable, if you like, to sack someone like Babili from the APRC. And now Babili fires you. How do you feel about that?
Well, people, all of us, we feel disappointed. We're taking aback. Not only saying we're removed, but he called us traitors.
Exactly. He called you traitors.
That really shocked people. People who stood for you, defended you at every corner. When we pass and people insult us, it's because of Babili Mansa. When we go to places they throw stones at us, it's because of Babili Mansa. Their dislike for him, not APRC as a party, but him being a former head of state and what happened during APRC government. Well, for us, we're not acting on the same level. When people talk about expel, we have the powers to do that, but we give honor where it is due. We give credit where it is due. We're saying he's not an ordinary citizen. For 22 years, he's been in charge of this country. And no matter what, there are people who love him. And he has did a lot of things in this country. Despite the happenings, etc., we're not saying that never happened. But for us, we recognize him as somebody who should be honored, who should not be disrespected publicly. A lot we could say, a lot we could do.
Is this why you are still treading with caution? Even at your press conference, all you said, trying to give him excuses. Jammeh can be a very, unpredictable man. But what Fabakary did at the press conference was to create excuses for Jammeh. Maybe he was misinformed or misadvised.
Yes,
Who takes that?
Yes.
I am not taking that.
That is Fabakary for you, not all executive members.
What is your position?
For me, like I said, I feel very disappointed because knowing fully well, I was never part of any government, though I have ever been APRC, and personally, never benefited anything. And I have spent my resources, my time, my finance in the party to contribute and make APRC what it is. The least somebody could tell you is to tell you thank you, not to label you as a traitor.
So now, if you are still standing your ground that Jammeh endorsed, gave his blessing to this marriage, and Jammeh changing his mind, let's try to understand that. Why do you think all of a sudden Jammeh flipped?
Yeah, for me, I believe lately the people he's been talking to really are not giving him the realities on the ground. But for me, that's not an excuse. You have every opportunity to find out the actualities on the ground. Don't just listen to one side. And cutting communication with the executive for several months, I never expected anything positive to come out of I as an individual. Because somebody who wants to make up things, you don't boycott, you don't cut off communication. You get in touch with people to know the realities on the ground. Give them your ideas and your thing. Why keep silent for several months and said, I never agreed? Why were you silent? That's the question I think Jammeh needs to answer. If you said, I was watching the two camps, who created that camp? Which means he empowered them. With all they've been saying, we've been talking to Jammeh, Jammeh said it, then he's been saying it. Because he himself has confirmed to that. This is why I said, we are disappointed. Tombog would say that, but other executive members would definitely say differently.
So as things stand, you haven't taken any position at all, any stance as an executive regarding Jammeh?
Well, we said it's politics. You don't use emotions or anger in order to do politics. And everything is stage by stage or is step by step. We're doing our presses, we're getting the public enlightening. They keep pushing what they're pushing. But again, there are laws to everything and nobody is above the law. We are abiding by that. We've written to the IEC to show them our position, equally to the Inspector General of Police and to the Inter-Party Committee. Because professionally, this is what is expected. We cannot just jump and say we expel A, B, and C. No, you follow protocols, you follow stages and steps that are law-abiding. Until you reach to a stage that you can expel people, then so be it.
So who has the bigger crowd, Fabakary Tombong Jatta or Jammeh? Because his camp is saying that 95% are all with the No Alliance movement. That's bad for you. That is bad news for you.
That's not factual. Let's not fool each other. We went around the country, and as we speak, all the chairpersons in all the regions are with the national executive. If you know politics, you will know the role of a chairperson. When they are active, they have an executive. The constituency is answerable to them. The ward and the village level is all answerable to them. Who has the bigger numbers? All this crowd they're polling is from one region, West Coast, without doubt. Majority of whom are from the Fonyis. I was going to Jahara Soma during the weekend when they had that Gunjur rally. Went up to Sibanor, that's where I saw their Gele-Geles lined up. A lot of Gele-Geles. Are the Gele-Geles coming from all the regions or from one region? Let's not fool one another. And I am saying this country consists of 53 constituencies. I've said it and I will keep repeating it. The entire Fonyi is 5 constituencies. Let's say the entire Fonyi are with the No Alliance, which is not factual. But let's just assume you have 48 constituencies that are not within the Fonyi. 5 constituencies cannot win you any presidency. So let people stop deceiving and decepting others, making them believe that 95% is with the No Alliance. They don't even have 25%.
And the reason why I raised that, the other accusation that has been leveled against you is that you've been going to President Barrow trying to sell off this party, but lying to the president and then taking money from the president and eating this money.
That's actually not true. We haven't taken any money from the president, and we have not eaten money from the president. The 3 million given and the 10 vehicles is given to the party. Where are the vehicles today? We distributed that at the bureau and we gave them cash, 30,000 each. That's the video Lamin Tamba said we were sharing money at the bureau. That was definitely a very wrong caption. You know, when people are filled up with hate and wanting to see you fail, those are the moments that they capitalize and giving wrong caption to the people. That has gone to the regions.
But your this war with Lamin Tamba, where would it end?
I'm not in war with Lamin Tamba. He attacks me personally, I don't respond. Yes. But when you want to give the party a bad image, it is my role as the deputy spokesperson and director of media to clarify. Lamin Tamba has said a lot of things personally to me. I don't respond to personal attacks. I'm definitely above that. But when you want to give the party labelings, I will defend the party because that's why they gave me a position. Let me make that clear. He has accused me a lot of things. I don't even respond. I read his posts all the time at Facebook. People forward it to me. And believe in me, I can take him on and he will not survive it. He will end up blocking me. I did that with him at the Diaspora Forum. He left. He left that forum. And people in that forum could attest to that. I did not insult and I did not lie. For him, he said, I am accusing him. I don't accuse people. That's how he feels and that's what it is. People have been telling him you wanted position. And he's been appointed, giving a position. He announced it and they congratulate him. He's happy with that. So why are you denying that you are eager to lead the party or to have a position?
The man who is appearing to profit from this is Sheikh Tijan Hydra. What do you make of his role? I have seen him time and again call the APRC. Well, I'm not sure. I have taken it as a matter of principle not to call them APRC. The No Alliance movement. Yes. He calls them APRC de facto. This is how he calls them. I have seen Fabakari threaten to take legal action against him regarding using the name of the APRC and the logo and all of that. But he is calling them APRC. What do you make of his role in all of this?
He's not going to benefit from this, said Tijan Hydra. I'm saying it on media, bank it. We will reach there. What it will lead to, defamation. He'll come to a time, people will label him, you know, of trying to snatch a situation in creating popularity for himself. Just this morning, I listened to an audio. A woman, one of our chairpersons at Al-Lunghare in the URR, who is no other than Haja Satu. She was interviewed about 12 minutes. She talked about Tijan Hydra when they met the URR chairman, Alaji Bajoko Dukure, and herself, you know, telling them that Jammeh can never be president, leader in this country again. So he was lobbying for them to support and back him. You know, it's about 12 minutes audio. It's circulating on social media. And what people know about you, when you go in the ring of politics, a lot will be revealed. This is what I am telling you. There's a lot that has happened underneath. It will start surfacing. This is why I'm telling you, it's not going to benefit him, but it will take him down. You can bank that.
Now, Jammeh is also trying to get GDC. Someone might say or think that Jammeh is planning to take the country. Well, it's using that formula.
It's based on what is circulating that Tijan Hydra cannot qualify to be a presidential candidate because the same Jammeh hired and fired him, and per our laws you cannot qualify. So they're now trying to see, okay, the man we're heading to, definitely it's not going to be a candidate. So let's lean someplace else. Now they're seeing GDC as a potential candidate. When we wanted to do anything with GDC, Jammeh was the one among those who objected. Yet still went ahead just to prove to people it's not like when Jammeh says no, it's totally no, or when he said yes, it's yes. No, committees were formed between ourselves and GDC, and that this year, you know, I was part of that committee and I was among those who spearheaded it. I went to Bachili, spoke with him. You can ask him. You know, he gave me his consent. He's in. I went to Kande, the same thing. I went to Tombong, and we formed committees. And lawyer Asan Martin was identified as chairperson. You can reach to all these 3 people. They'll tell you what Dodou Jah is saying is right. You know, to the extent when I first met Kande at Baobab, I spoke with MC Cham. He told me I was talking with Lamin Tamba. I told him you are here. So the communication channels is not starting now. It has been going a very long time ago. So they have every right to go to any party, make an alliance with them, join them, you know, ask them to support them. Nobody can stop that. It is their bad giving right. But here the issue is you cannot be using the name APRC. It has already allied itself with NPP and an MOU agreed upon. And the legitimate executive is with the IEC, that is Tombong, and his people around him.
And you are ready to go to court?
We're not going to court. The IEC will make things clear. If anybody objects to that, they will take the IEC to court. And if you take the IEC to court, the IEC staff, they don't go and answer to the court. Their lawyers goes to the court, and that will be paid from the taxpayers' money. The IEC is not going to pay for that. You take them to court, and the court will decide by what the law says, not what Jammeh says. Let them bank that too.
The love you have for Jammeh, is it still intact?
Yes, love and respect is definitely intact. But when it comes to trusting him, I have some question marks.
Mr. Jah, thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So, very well. That will be it, this interview with Mr. Jah. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, my name is Dodou Jah.